So, false rulings from dirty judges, and you're the damn target. False rulings from dirty judges, and you are going to be the victim, is the topic of today's show, and we're going to get into the means and methods that they do that. We're going to show you how it's done. So, welcome to the show. This is the Charles Van Morgan Show. Come on in. Got a very compelling, interesting show for you today. And we are going to explain how people in power in the courts right now protect their own crooked system. And it's a crooked system. We're going to explain that to you. How you're the target of the injustice system. You're the target of judges, you're the target of prosecutors, and we're going to show you how they unlawfully target you and they get by with it scot-free. They don't pay a price for the crimes that they accuse you of that you didn't even do. And we're going to discuss the means and methods. Now, we've been trying to get to that for several days, but it takes a long time to get through the details of all the corruption. Welcome. Come on board. You're watching the Charles Van Morgan Show. We stand on the Constitution and tell the truth about people in government power. That's what the Constitution's for. One of the reasons is for freedom of speech. And they can counter this argument. They do every day in their false rulings that people think are true. Just if a judge writes it, it's true. They have the legitimacy of law. If Van Morgan says it, we have branded him, and it's a sociological phenomenon I happen to know about. We have branded him, although not true, a liar, so don't listen to them. Listen to our judges' rulings, whom you have elected, and what they say is true every damn time, and that's not true. That's just absolutely not true. Our founding fathers knew of the rogueness of that false thinking. That's why they wrote the Constitution, which is what I know just a little bit about. They like to say I'm incredible and I don't know what I'm talking about. I have a hell of a lot of education from their institution. I have a doctorate level degree in the Constitution. It's called a Doctor of Jurisprudence. So I know a little bit about the Constitution. The Constitution protects you, not from me. Don't protect you from me. I'm not the government. It did when I was in government power, but you didn't need the Constitution when I was in government power. I obeyed the Constitution. The Constitution protects all of you all from the government, from people in power in the government right now. That's what the Constitution's written for. That one piece of paper that's got your rights, that protect you from all the government firepower, all their tanks, all their military, all their guns, all police officers' guns, all the tasers, all their military use of force equipment. It protects you from them using that against you unlawfully. It protects you to be able to allegedly, according to the Constitution, stand up and say, I disagree with people who were elected in power. I think that they're doing this wrong. In America, supposedly, you're supposed to be able to do that. It's called the marketplace of ideals. It lets people consider your ideal. Now, they can dispel it and say, hey, Charles Van Morgan is a complete total liar. He doesn't really have a JD. He doesn't have a master's degree in criminology. He doesn't know what's going on, although I do. Now, you can counter that. It'd be defamation, because I do, but I wouldn't win in court because of crooked judges. They would adjudicate you're right when I'm right. And that's what I'm contesting. But the Constitution protects you, gives me a right to stand up and counter their falseness. That's the reason why I'm perfectly legal. I'm not breaking any laws, and people don't understand that, haven't went to law school, that don't understand their rights. A lot of you all do. You have a right, a God-given right. There's no thought crimes to speak out against people who have great authority over you. They have a lot of power to affect your life. They can raise your taxes, make your roads smaller, make the price of food go up, enslave you. Now, notably, Juneteenth, the emancipation of African Americans this month, this day, but also there's not been an emancipation of us from rogue, dirty judges that violate the Constitution. The Constitution is a powerful document. And one thing that people misunderstand is, and the reason why I'm out here, you don't have to win an election to have the power of the Constitution protection. You don't have to be in power. That's the thing. It protects the less powerless. It protects one individual against the whole power of the government. The Constitution doesn't protect the people in government power. It protects you, one person, and all of us from all the people in government power. There's certain things they cannot do to citizens, and that's what people get wrong. They think you have to win an election to have rights. You have to win an election to be emancipated. You have to win an election to be able to speak out against people in power, because you have to be in power. And although in practicality that may be in effect the way it is, which is why I have such problems speaking out against the government, that's not constitutional. The Constitution says that I can get out here on a sidewalk because they have wrongly banned me from representing you in the courtroom and file a constitutional complaint against them saying they violated my constitutional rights and everybody across America's constitutional rights by roguely denying my right to practice law because I filed a suit in federal court because I exercise a federal constitutional right. Now, I know there's a lot in there, but what I'm saying is, when you're in power, and this is the difficulty of this agenda, even against people who agree with me in theory, they just don't agree in the means and methods that I'm doing. So they agree with me, but they think since I'm in power, since I'm not in power, I ought to shut up. That I shouldn't do anything about the wickedness of the judges and people in power because I'm not in power. Because that's going against people in power that have been duly elected, allegedly, and there's a reason why they're duly elected, because of fake news and fake judicial rulings in the first place. So because they're so powerful and so dirty and so rogue, and they are in power, I'm supposed to succumb to that and let it go, because I'm not in power. But they don't understand what I want all y'all to understand, is that we don't have to be in power to exercise our constitutional rights. It'd be easier if we're in power. People would go along and say, yeah, you're the mayor, you're the governor, you got a right to file suit against people that are doing wrong. You got a right to incarcerate people because you're the district attorney, you're the judge. You got a right to speak up and write your rulings. You got a right, and people listen to it. But if you're a lone wolf, a lone soldier, apparently not in power, not elected, smeared in the elections because of defamation from judges that's protected by law, even though it's not true, not protected from reality, and not protected from the Constitution, then you're not in power. So just, you got to go along and let them do that and just go away and be quiet and do something else. No, we have a Constitution. So this is very difficult. And the Constitution protects one individual, me, and you, against the almighty power of people that have been elected in government offices. I don't have to agree with them. Now, I have to obey the law, but I don't have to agree with them. I do not have to, and it is not wrong for me to speak out against people in power. In fact, it would be wrong if I didn't exercise my right. I'd be a dirty coward. The size of the people in power and the corruption that they're committing should not keep people from trying to make a difference, from trying to make things better. And the way you make things better is not like them, break laws, and they're breaking laws. These people in power are violating the Constitution every day. They're breaking criminal laws. They're writing laws that make their criminal activity not even a crime. Crime is a social construct. The people in power write laws. They give the appearance of the laws are designed to protect you, to protect people. Stuff's criminal if it harms people unjustifiably. And the perception is that these people in power write laws to protect you, but they don't write laws to protect you. They write laws to make their danger to you, what they do to mistreat you, legal. So their danger is legal. And their mass incarceration of innocent citizens is completely fine and okay. And the consensus of the voters, how dare I say something about it with specific details that I don't care if it is illegal. I'm not breaking laws, but I'm going to point out this is not right. It endangers people. It hurts little children. It hurts the innocent. It hurts the needy and the poor and the people that are less powerful. And I've got a right to stand up and say that. But because I'm not in power, how dare I go against the status quo? And if I didn't speak, you're not going to have this message. Do you not even want the other side, a comparison, to say, hey, these great people in power, let's listen to Charles Van Morgan. Maybe, even if we don't agree, he's got the right to say it. He's got an alternative view. And maybe some of the stuff he's saying is right. And if he's right, we better get up and go vote. Because he's saying that these people in power, and I'm saying it clear out, plain English, these people in power are dangerous to you, very dangerous to you. They are dangerous to me. They don't want this other side out. And we're going to talk about specific details of how dangerous they are to you. Let's see how many people got in here. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Wow, 300 people. So just here in this city, and your city too, you all know stories. In your city, the prosecutor's office, right downtown, these are people where you're at your house, living life peacefully, not committing a crime, have the authority to lie on you, and judges protect them and come and arrest you if they get you to jail, if they arrest you, kill you in your house and take you to jail. That's what I'm speaking against. And I'm telling you, flat out plain English, they will do that. They do that. Even one time it's too many. And I'm uncovering that, protecting you against your government. I've got a right to say that. They don't want me saying that because it's true. Now they say the alternative. They say a lot of bad stuff about me. I'm gonna tell you, none of it's true. None of it's true. That's the reason why they're saying it, because no other candidate in the history of elections, not even Donald Trump, has pointed out the wickedness of the wicked. Now he has, to some degree, Donald Trump, after he was attacked, when he stood up against a little bit of it. But I've been standing up against this corruption from day one. So let's talk about the prosecutor's office right down here. These are people that have the authority and the weight of law. Now, I'm not speaking from a distance what I've read or heard through the grapevine about these people. And the grapevines usually, they claim 70 or 80% correct. So a lot of rumor you hear is correct. Now, I'm not saying to go on that, but you can listen to it and analyze it and align it up with facts. But these people in the courtroom, I know these people. I've met them. I've been around them for years. I know how dirty and crooked they were. When I was in government power, I had to fight them to protect the roads. They weren't in the business of protecting people on the roads. They were in the business of justifying their rogue power. They would call me up to their offices in the city county building to yell and fuss at me and complain to me about arresting people that are in power, applying the law fairly. That was off bounds. Now, they didn't say that, but quickly after one of their children got arrested for drunk driving that was a danger to themselves and others, clearly, I'd be called up to their office and fussed at. They're showing me, hey, we're in power. You don't apply the law to us. They're deceitful. They're wicked people. They won't come right out and tell you that, what they're doing. And they don't want me to tell you what they're doing. I'll tell you what they're doing. I didn't read it in the book. I've met these people. I've met Tammy Hicks, the fat prosecutor. That's a dirty liar that endangered your life by releasing hundreds of drunk drivers back on the road to you that can hit you. So imagine you're on your way to work today and you're trying to make a living for your family. And they don't want me saying this, but I'm going to say it. You might want to listen to it because it's the truth. It has basis in fact. It's logical. It makes sense. And I'm going to explain it to you. No one else will explain it to you this way. I'm going to explain it to you. And even if you don't believe me, it's very colorful and truthful. Consider it. Consider it, because if what I'm saying is true, you need to get up and not fight them, not shoot them, not kill them, not do anything illegal. Get up and go vote. Vote these people out. They'll do this to you. So imagine you're driving down the road, going to work, and a rogue drunk driver partying all night slams into you and hits you and maybe breaks your leg, puts you in the hospital. No, that's not the story I'm telling. That's not the story. Now, that is a slim possibility. That's what they portray, but that's not the story. So imagine you're going down the road and a rogue person hits you and it breaks your leg. Same story, but it's a rogue person, but that's not the story. That's not the story. Imagine it's a judge that is on his way to court in the morning, drunk off his ass. That's the story. That might help. That might get your attention. That's the truth. That might be the truth. It won't help you, but it's not a rogue person. It's people in government power that are doing this, and they get by with it. Imagine you're going down the road and you're stone cold sober and you get arrested falsely by a state trooper and it gets adjudicated and you get $90,000. Now that's in the news today. Now that's what they're portraying, but that's not the story. That's not the story. That's not even half of the wickedness. They're trying to portray the story that a man did get arrested for drunk driving, and it's horrific, but he got $90,000. Watch the show today. That's what it's telling you. So justice does prevail. Yes, the system prevails. He got arrested wrongfully, but he got money. He's a veteran, and he got money. He got arrested wrongfully, and he got some money, $90,000. That's the story the news is telling you. That's not the truthful story. It's not even close to reality. The story is, and there's a lot of them that are much, much worse than they're telling you. Imagine you're driving down the road and you get stopped, you're stone cold sober, by a Tennessee state trooper who arrests you for drunk driving while he's drunk driving. He accuses you of what he's doing at the time. Now that's the truthful story. The truthful story, a Tennessee judge put a state trooper back to work who's driving a Tennessee State Patrol car on duty in uniform. That's the truthful story, because they have arrested 2,500 people falsely. So when they ask you to take a breathalyzer, ask them, I will if you will first, because you're sober and they're not. That's the truth. They're not telling you that. And they're not telling you the hundreds of people, 25,000, 2,500 people that they counted. There's more than that. And they originally said only 600. So we know they lie because they said 600. And then when they were pushed, they went up to 2,500. The real number is much higher. Imagine you're going down the road and you get hit by a rogue person, and you can't imagine it, because imagine they kill you by a rogue drunk driver. That's the story they're telling you. Happens all the time. They allege a rogue drunk driver. What about the real story? What if it were a Tennessee state trooper that's drunk, you're sober, and hits you and kills you? That is a likely possibility. Imagine that. Does anybody say that? You say, well, that's crazy. That's conspiracy. That doesn't happen. Well, we know for a fact that there is a Tennessee state trooper right now back on the job that was fired. He had to be fired by them because he had a substantial level of alcohol in his system. If you take back the time when he went 10-8, about the time you're going to work, he was drunk on the job in a car, legally drunk. Imagine he hits you and kills you. You're sober, he's drunk. So our law enforcement is drunk, hitting you and killing you possibility, because we know that drunk drivers kill. Now, they don't want to say that. They say it's the rogue person. You're responsible. You drink and drive, and you kill other people, and the government is out there to protect you. No, they're not. No, they're not. They protect themselves. They protect their own drunkenness. They have parties at the governor's mansion where they pull out of there on Christmas, in their Christmas parties, drunk as hell in patrol cars. The governor knows it's at their mansions. It has happened in the past. I've heard it. So they're driving drunk, and you say, well, they don't run into us. They're expert drunk drivers. Imagine if you're hit and killed in a drunk driving accident, not by a rogue drunk driver. That's what they say. They point the finger at you, or they say it's not drunk drivers that kill, it's lack of seatbelt use. That's not even true either. And they even lie about the number of people who don't wear a seatbelt. Everybody that's killed in a car accident, they mark, for the most part, that they weren't wearing a seatbelt because they want to blame it on lack of seatbelt use. When it's not lack of seatbelt use. A lot of it is drunk driving, and some of it is drunk driving by government officials. That's been covered up. This is not conspiracy theory. I'm going to name you names, dates, and times. This is reality. Your government is dangerous towards you. They're not protecting you. It's the other way. They're the dark side. I'm the light. I have a right to say this just because I didn't get elected. And that's why I didn't get elected, because I'm dangerous for the right reasons to them. And it still doesn't take away my First Amendment rights. I will get one vote, mine. And I have a few friends and relatives, and I'll speak the truth against them. And if they don't like it, they need to lump it in America or move to Russia. And they want to bring Russia over here and take away your First Amendment right because they don't like the truth that I'm telling, because it's telling the truth on them. So imagine you're driving down the road, you get hit by a rogue drunk driver. Could happen. Imagine you're driving down the road, you get hit and killed, and your family misses you because you get hit by a drunk judge. And the prosecutor is right behind them that should be prosecuting that knows they're drunk. But they don't prosecute them. But if you were drunk, they would prosecute you, but you're sober, so they can't, or they can, and they do anyway. But you're drunk, they're drunk, the judge is drunk, and the prosecutor's right behind them, knows they're drunk, covers for them. Imagine that drunk judge hits you sober. Who do you think the prosecutor's gonna prosecute? The judge? Hell no. They cover for the judge. In fact, they did cover for the judge. That's what they do. They call good evil. They call me evil. I'm not evil. I'm exercising my First Amendment constitutional right. They have judicial rulings that violate the law, that are unconstitutional, where they defame me. They've got a judicial ruling right now in the courts today that says I have no First Amendment right to freedom of speech, against the very Constitution that they're supposed to uphold. They've got a memorandum, a judicial ruling in the courts right now that I cannot file adjudicated legal federal suits against them that are legally adjudicated, not adjudicated as frivolous legal lawsuits that were dismissed on technicalities, but were nonetheless extremely legal, weren't dismissed by a federal judge for being unlawful. And they deny me a privilege to practice law because I filed a suit, exercised my rights. So just because I'm not in power, just because I haven't won any elections, does not nowhere near affect my ability to speak the truth about them. And I hear it all the time. Oh, don't do that. Why? Are you a coward? Are you afraid of these crooked judges and crooked judiciary? Let me give you a little clue. They're afraid of you. They've got you bluffed if you're afraid of them. A lot of people ain't, and thank you all so very much if you're not afraid of these people. They're afraid of your vote. They're not afraid of criminal activity. They're afraid of you standing on your constitutional rights. We don't have to win elections, although we damn sure might, in order to stand up against these people. We can stand up right now. We can go out on the sidewalk in front of the Capitol in front of the Capitol in Tennessee, because I think the Capitol in Washington, D.C., in the White House, is being run about as best as it can. I mean, we have a convicted felon in the White House. People say, oh, that's bad. No, that's good. That's good. That tells you how mixed up the system is. That shows you how mixed up it is. We have a convicted felon. People say, that is a bad thing. I'd say that's a good thing that we have a convicted felon in the White House. It shows you how crooked the system is. Some of the best people to run the office of the White House and the government, the best that you could imagine under the circumstance, we're in a fallen world, is a convicted felon. And that's the best we have to offer, because the government goes after good people. They do. Look at the White House. So although I've never been convicted of a crime, as of yet, it has been adjudicated that I don't have any constitutional First Amendment rights. Can you believe that? In America, I don't have a First Amendment right. But why? It's because they are unprotecting the most protected fundamental issue that the First Amendment protects: my freedom of political speech. I have no right to speak out against people in power. Well, under their adjudicative ruling, well, actually, I damn sure do. And I don't care what your unlawful rulings say, I'm going to exercise that right, because they have the Constitution wrong. And what I'm doing, and I ask you to join me, subscribe to the channel. We've got over 5,000. Let's get 100,000. Let's get 1 million. And let's get a silver YouTube button. That's what this is all about, right? No, this is about the truth. This is about the truth. This is about getting political pressure, nonviolent political pressure on the establishment that targets you. That's all this is about. Political pressure to cause them to do right. That's all it's about. It's not about breaking the law. It's about pressuring the government to do right, to honor the Constitution, to honor what our agreement with the government says. That's all it is. Now, they want to say all kinds of heinous, crooked things. But if you want your constitutional rights protected, you got to put pressure on them. You can't run and hide. They will continue to take more. So all these scenarios that I have run are a very good possibility. A drunk Tennessee state trooper may run into you and kill you. Now, they won't tell you that, but let me tell you the evidence that might happen. And you won't even be able to get the police report. The public won't even be able to know what the hell happened. A Tennessee state trooper was drunk on the job in a uniform. They do it all the time at their Christmas parties. 2 police officers ran into each other in Maryville, Tennessee. A Tennessee state trooper and a Maryville police officer. Now, the Maryville officer's been out open in the news. I think he's still off the job, hurt very seriously, suffered serious injuries. Had to be taken to UT Medical Center. The state trooper that hit him, 2 police officers collide. So who's at fault? The public's at fault, and 2 police officers running into each other? No. It's got to be one of the law enforcement officers' fault. And the fault is they don't train them right. But was one of them drunk? So a drunk trooper could run into you and hurt you. We don't know, and you can't even get the report. I have filed a public information request that is due me by law to noisy people. They want to let you know they're here. So how about be here, let people know you're here by telling the truth, protecting them. So I filed a public information request to get the rec report, Unbridled News, Charles Van Morgan, to get the rec report to try to find out which officer was at fault. Were they both a little bit at fault? The public wasn't at fault. They weren't involved in the crash. Witnesses said that they weren't, that the 2 officers ran into each other. But I can't get their police report. They said they were conducting an investigation through the dirty Tennessee Highway Patrol Investigation Unit. I know the Tennessee Highway Patrol Investigation Unit is dirty. They're dirty as hell. They do what the upper echelon tells them to do. They kiss the ring. They don't decide facts and evidence. They decide facts and evidence, present it to the upper echelon. The upper echelon tells them what side to go on. And it's against you every damn time. So you can't even get the police report. One of them might have been drunk. So I'm entitled under the law in a courtroom, supposedly, although the courts aren't run right. They got drunk and drug people sitting on the bench they have in the past. What makes you think they don't in the future? So under the rules of evidence, if people withhold evidence, Brady violations, and they do. Brady versus Maryland is a thing where a decision where in practicality it doesn't work, but in theory there's a ruling on the books that says that if the prosecution has evidence against the defendant that is favorable to your defendant, they have to release it to you. You have to be privy to the information they've got that could exonerate your client. Now, they don't release it. They don't. They hold evidence. They listen to phone calls. They do all kinds of crooked, dirty stuff. But they say, hey, there's a Brady rule, we abide by it. No, they don't, by their own admissions. And when they don't abide by it, they don't even get punished. They don't lose their job. It happened numerous times in this courtroom right down here, right down the street. Now, you know about how stuff in your court. I'm telling you, the government is dangerous towards you people in power. They got a target on your back. They're horrific towards you. I would not be doing you justice if I softened it up. And if you say, well, you don't have a right to speak against the people in power. Yes, I do too. It's called the Constitution. It shines a light on their wickedness. I absolutely do. Well, you didn't win an election. You don't have the right to speak. Yeah, I absolutely do, even if I don't win an election. That's irrelevant. That's what they don't like. Now, it would be better if I won elections, because then I could straighten out the crookedness. And I've done it when I was in the government, saved lives and property. They don't want lives and property saved. They want money for the billionaires. They want to live off your money, and they want to incarcerate you. So the Brady rule, they have to turn over exculpatory information. And if they destroy evidence legally, and I'm just doing this politically, it's perfectly fair. People think I'm not being fair. I'm being very fair. They're not being fair. And because they're not being fair, then the rules tilt in my favor. I can make anything out of it I want to. If the prosecutor destroys evidence, you're entitled, as the victim of their destroying the evidence intentionally, you're entitled to the worst possible interpretation of the evidence that they destroyed. Why else would they destroy it if it didn't incriminate them? So legally in the court of law, and people tell me what to do, they don't even know the law. Legally in the court of law, which is a controlled environment, this is politics. This is wide open. So I'm not hurting anybody illegally or even immorally. I'm standing up against the power. So don't tell me what to do until you go to law school and graduate, or have a little life experience and know what the hell you're talking about. I know what the hell I'm talking about. So in a courtroom with the legal rules that are designed in theory to make it a fair hearing, you can't just say whatever you want to say, because it can unduly, unfairly prejudice the jury. Even if it's true, you want a fair trial. You can't tell 100 different, a million different pictures of the crime scene and how gross it was. The jury's going to want to convict somebody. They could, so it's unfairly prejudicial. So you can show pictures of the crime scene, just not an enormous amount for days, because it's unfairly prejudicial, even if it's true, because there's rules in the courtroom to make it a fair hearing. It's boxed off. It's legal in theory. In practicality, it doesn't work that way. They hide evidence and get by with it. Suffer no criminal prosecution for it. It happens right down here at this courthouse. In your county, in your state, in your country, you know how it's done. People in power go rogue. And if you stand up against them, shame on you. You didn't win an election. Well, I don't have to. Shame on them for winning an election and defrauding you, having the power and swearing to uphold the law and then defrauding you. Ain't no shame on me. I'm doing the right thing in the face of danger. This is called bravery. I mean, we go fight in foreign wars and people spit on the soldiers that had no choice. The choice is to put pressure on the politics before they go into the war. Speak out against it peacefully, but you don't want that side. Well, soldiers don't get a side, they're in the military. And I'm not criticizing foreign wars. I'm saying we have the right to speak our mind, to influence politics, to stop them from doing things we don't agree with politically. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with what I'm doing. They withhold evidence of a wreck in Maryville. I filed a public information request to get who was at fault in that wreck, to see if one of the troopers was drunk or the officer. They will not release the evidence in a government wreck. I mean, it was a wreck by the government, people in power. No one else was involved in that. The sole responsibility of people in power. Imagine you have a wreck. Imagine you have a wreck and somebody went through the procedure to ask for a public information request about your wreck. They'd release it in a second. They're not trying to protect you. They'll put it out immediately. They don't care. You have the government involved in a government wreck. It's Ray Ip's locator. They were in sole control of the wreck. Two officers hit each other. No one else responsible in a government function. And they won't release the wreck. What are they hiding? So I have a right, even in court rulings, even in the court process, and politics is wide open, to assume the worst. Why are they covering it up? Maybe I can assume, and they have the right to put out the evidence to dispel it, that one of the troopers, that the trooper involved in that wreck was drunk. I can assume the worst about evidence they won't release. So there you go. Was the trooper drunk? There's evidence to show that they have been drunk on the job and put back to work. So that's a good possibility. That's not just saying stuff that might not be true. And even in a courtroom, I have a right to the worst possible interpretation of the evidence that they're hiding, won't release. And in politics, it's not court rules. It's not designed to be fair. You're only subject to defamation, which I'm not defaming anybody. False communication with actual malice that's unprivileged, which is knowledge of the falsity of the statement or reckless disregard for the truth. I don't know that what I'm saying is not true. It's not drunk. So there's a basis in fact of what I'm saying. Actual malice is the government standard for defamation. In order for them to sue me for defamation, justifiably, they have to prove that I knew what I was saying was false or had reckless disregard for the truth. Now, if they sent me back the report like I asked for, and it showed that the trooper was stone cold sober, then if I said that, I could be subject to defamation, although the lab doesn't get it right. Sometimes there's arguments of past that too, because the lab's already admitted to lying, the TBI lab, and the TBI lab admitted to lying, but they're giving them an award to bolster their credit. That's like when a trooper kills somebody, or when an officer kills somebody. Later down, maybe a few years after the dust settles, they give the officer a lifesaver award to give them renewed credibility for not doing nothing. It's a facade, it's a joke. They're trying to say, even though we killed somebody wrongly, we're giving you a lifesaver award to make the public have the facade, the perception that you saved somebody's life. You didn't kill somebody unjustifiably. They've forgotten about that. That's how they do. They're dangerous to you. They got a target on your back. And the First Amendment's a wonderful thing. I got a right to say this stuff. So you're driving down the road and you get hit by a road drunk driver. That's not the story. You're driving down the road, you get hit by a drunk trooper. You're driving down the road to work this morning and you get arrested stone cold sober by a drunk trooper. You're driving down the road and you're stone cold sober, you get hit by a drunk driver, and the prosecutor arrests the drunk driver. That's a facade. You're driving down the road, you get hit by a drunk judge, and the prosecutor is watching them drive drunk. And then they might try to prosecute you, which they have done hundreds of times. That literally happened where a prosecutor was driving behind a drunk judge. Knew that they were drunk. All over the damn road. Didn't report it. And that same lawyer committed Brady violations, not prosecuted. Not prosecuted. And other attorneys in this courtroom right down here, this wicked, dirty courtroom, where judges won't give you the right to defend yourselves, drag you into court and won't let you speak up for yourself, are right here in this courtroom today, winning elections. And I'm able to speak out against people in power to tell the truth against them. They have plenty of means and methods to get their side out, their lying side out. They have your tax money to defend their lying side in court. You pay them to lie against you. Now, they don't want me saying that. The Attorney General's office right now, I'm paying them with my tax money. You're paying the Attorney General's office with your tax money so that they can deny you adequate, honest, truthful legal representation in the Tennessee Court of Law. That's what's going on right now. They literally raised the amount of your tax money that's given to them in order to defend lies with more of your money. They defend their lies against you with more of your money now. They passed a rule in the budget that gives the Attorney General's office more of your money to fight you in their court. So you're paying for your own legal demise. It literally happened the other day. I'm not making this stuff up. So the Attorney General got more of my money to fight me. But I can't speak out against it. I'm being wrong doing that. Yeah, I will. As long as I got a voice and I'm alive, and they might try to kill me. They've already done that before. And I'm not saying to kill them. I'm saying to fight them in courtrooms, vote them out. They're wicked, dirty people. And they're right there at that courtroom making rogue rulings against you every day. So thank y'all. Almost 200 people in here. Unheard of message you won't hear anywhere else. And we're going to tell you some important stuff. We're going to get right to the point today of the means and measures of how they do this crooked stuff. So they got law enforcement presence down there right now. I'm not sure what's going on in front of the courthouse, but they've got a law enforcement presence here in Knoxville. You can see the blue lights and flashing. So a couple of cars. And I don't know, they may just be repairing the roads, blocking traffic to repair the roads, but it's right there in front of the courthouse. So, like, share, and comment. And if you can, I don't have your tax money, they do. Contribute to the show, go to the Antidote link, or contribute on this show, likes and shares, if you can't contribute money, to help me put out press and information to fight these people. The more money I get, the more I get to put out truthful information on a mass level against people in power. So you're paying for a message that puts political pressure, honest, legitimate political pressure on people in power. So probably shutting down the road for the Juneteenth parade, I would bet, but we don't know. So we'll cover news as it's coming on the scene, go down here and try to find out what the hell's going on. But I would bet that they're shutting down the road for a Juneteenth event to advertise so people can walk without getting run over by a car. But I bet it's traffic control, but no way of knowing. So until we go down there, so we'll go down there and see what the hell's going on. We got a lot of time to cover the information about the road courts, their means and measures. So if we'll maybe able to determine what's going on from here. But there is several cars, and who the hell knows, we'll go see if we can find out what's going on down at the little park they got beside the river. And police presence. It looks like they're shutting down the road for probably the Juneteenth march, emancipation, but who knows. We'll go down here, it's not very far, and try to find out the hell what's going on. If you can see the blue lights in the distance. So at that very courthouse right there is a lot of criminal conduct that goes on. So maybe a wreck, I don't know. I don't like to film wrecks, I've seen enough of them. They're not a fun thing. They do have a wrecker out there, so maybe it is a wreck. So I'm not sure. Thank you for all the views. Over 100 people on here. Thank you all for the mass level of support that this channel has got. I appreciate it. I so much appreciate the views and people listening to me all over the world, all over the United States. So we can see, maybe from here, there's a police car in the park there, and a police car on the side of the road, and a wrecker. 2 police cars in the park, and several cars lined up. So we'll just go down here and see, and we may do our show from that location. It looks like a vehicle that appears to be an ambulance is showing up. I'm not sure. So there's about 3 police cars and a wrecker. So I don't know. Not sure. There's no telling. Doesn't seem to be any news press there. There's several unmarked cars. So we'll go see if we can find out what's going on, and maybe do our show from down there. We're talking about the scenario that you're driving down the road going to work, and the scenario they want to tell you is that a drunk driver hits you and kills you, not because of the drunk driver, partly because you don't have your seatbelt on. So you can avoid the horrendous impact from a drunk driver that hits you. It's not a state trooper or a government officer, it's a drunk driver that hits you. And you shouldn't be drunk driving, but you should have had your seatbelt on. Now that's the video clip advertisement that Bill Haslam put out when he was, right after he fired me for stopping that drunk driver from hitting you, because I would have stopped him because I arrested more people for drunk driving than anybody in the state. So he lied on me and wrongfully got rid of me. And he put out a commercial immediately after they were getting rid of me that your demise is due to the fact that you don't have your seatbelt on. He did a commercial about seatbelt use, breaking pictures and type it in, Bill Haslam's seatbelt use commercial. Right after he fired me, because the reason why you're killed is not because a state trooper or a police officer is drunk on the job, slams into you and kills you. The reason that you're dead, according to Bill Haslam, the rich billionaire that they listen to, that tells you the truth and everything, who's a dirty, rotten liar that exploits people. The reason you're dead is because of the drunk driver hit you, and that's sad, that they caused that. But they don't tell you that. And because you didn't have your seatbelt on, or you could have survived a drunk driving crash, because that's the reason for the mass fatalities. The reason why you don't get home, because you don't wear your seatbelt. So the drunk driver hitting you, that's not a law enforcement officer, is partly your fault because you didn't have your seatbelt on, which is absolutely ludicrous. I have worked wrecks where drunk drivers and people under the influence and people have killed themselves, and they had their seatbelt on, and supervisors ordered me to put that they didn't have their seatbelt on. So they pad the statistics. Not wearing your people's seatbelt is not going to stop you from a collision where somebody hits you at comparable speeds of 100 miles an hour, because you have your speed and their speed if they hit you head on. So that's not the case. We'll go down here and see what the hell's going on with this police stuff, presence, and try to film news as safely as we can. We're not going to interfere with anything they're doing. And because I've had boots on the ground, been in their shoes, and not going to interfere. We'll film from a distance, see what the police are doing down here. So today's show's about the police target on your back, and the judiciary target on your back, and the prosecutor's target on your back. They're following drunk judges around, not reporting that they're drunk, covering for drunk judges, and demolishing you. So doesn't look like we got anything really going on down here. So who knows? We'll go down here and take a gander. But I would say it is something involving June 10th. And then we'll try to film my show about the dirty, crooked judiciary in the state of Tennessee. And it is Friday. None of these judges work on Friday. They take the day off at their golf course. And they like, share, and comment, and they give people breaks at golf with them. And do you golf with a judge? If you don't golf with a judge, then you're going to get convicted even when you're innocent. And if you golf with a judge and the person that's golfing with a judge hits you and they're in the wrong, then the judge is going to adjudicate their right and sue you successfully in their road courts of law. That's what plays out in real time. Now, that's not what they tell you, but that is the fact. So, not sure what they got going on, but we got a little police presence over here for some unknown reason. Don't want to fall down, but so we'll go over here on the public sidewalk and try to film. I'm not sure if it's a crime scene or if they're setting up for Juneteenth traffic, but they have got the park shut down. So we'll do our little show from right here on the public sidewalk. And see if they have anything going on. So welcome. Let's see if we got how many people we got in here. Got quite a few, so we'll do our show from right outside the city county building. You're watching the Charles Van Morgan Show. We're talking about dirty Tennessee judges, thug judges. They don't like me saying that's why I say it, because it's the truth. So right here at this courthouse, we got rogue dirty prosecutor, Sharman Tissue Allen, who's a prosecutor right here. Now, she won an election. Now, I'm not going to break any laws. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm on a public sidewalk. But under the First Amendment of the Constitution, even though I didn't win an election because of people like these dirty judges that lie about me, I can still legally, legitimately speak against her. And I just called her, on purpose, Sharman Tissue Allen. Now, she's a rogue prosecutor here in the state of Tennessee that will put you in jail, convict you unlawfully. Now, that's not what she says. She says publicly on news channels, on her podcast, that she is out for fighting for your safety, arresting criminals. That's what she says. She's got a right to say that. I'm not stopping her from saying that. Have at it. Go ahead. I say you lie, lie, lie. I'm telling you what she's saying is a lie. That's the other side of the argument. Now, in Russia, you can't speak out against Mr. Putin. You'll be flying across the sky in an airplane, and the airplane just zoom, hit the ground. What the hell happened? Well, Putin did something to the airplane. Or you'll be eating dinner after you spoke out against Mr. Putin and his rogue government that's invading another country unlawfully against international laws, and you'll be eating food and you'll be poisoned. Now that's Russia. They don't have the First Amendment in Russia. In America, we have the Constitution, which says we have a right to speak out against our government. We have a right to file civil lawsuits in federal court peacefully, to write out papers, present our argument based on the law, and hand it over to a federal judge. We have that right under the Constitution. You don't have that right in Russia. You really don't have that right in the United States of America, because the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners has sanctioned me for doing just that. So, Sharman Tissue Allen, right here in this courthouse, right here in this courtroom, has a huge microphone that millions of people will listen to on one broadcast. If she calls a press conference, every news in Knoxville will be in front of her on the podium with microphones on the podium, with her explaining why she can drive down the interstate at a high rate of speed, endanger your lives and other people's lives, and get by with it. She won't talk about that. She'll talk about how she's fighting the drug problem. She's not fighting the drug problem. How she's convicting dangerous illegal aliens of drunk driving. She's not doing that. She's allowing it to happen. At this prosecutor's office, they released hundreds of drunk drivers and dangerous people back out in society, one that even hurt a child, without any penalty at all, blaming their wrong on me. They did that, and I am allowed under the Constitution to say that they shouldn't have done that. That was wrong, that they did a disservice to you. Sharman Tissue Allen does things to damage you, not to help you. This is America, Constitution. She won election, I didn't. That doesn't detract from my right to speak the truth to these powerful people. Tammy Hicks in the DUI enforcement unit dismissed all these charges because she says, I'm not credible. They did it from the safety of that city-county building with armed guards protecting them to facilitate a lie. I'm out here on the sidewalk and telling you that I'm very credible. I was out on the road at night, arrested them safely, myself, at night by myself, legitimately, lawfully, not ones at 0 alcohol level, people that were really drunk, really fighting crime, and I'm credible. And this courthouse right here is not even legal and legitimate. Now, I'm not saying to go against them to do anything illegal. I'm saying to vote them out of office. Let's get in power to eliminate these people legally, not let them have authority over our lives. They don't deserve it. They're liars. And the Constitution, I'm allowed to say that. Now, they won't let me say that, but I'm saying it anyway. One thing that protects me is your like and subscribe and share. Even police officers in uniform, not all of them, have publicly got involved in politics with a badge on, not just Knoxville, other departments all across the state, and have arrested and threatened me, belittled me in uniform, literally politicking, standing up in their uniform for the government, promoting their bosses, the people in power now, against a political candidate, using your tax resources, the symbol of the car and the power and authority, to demoralize me, literally making fun of a political candidate. They have no right to do that. That's our tax money. They're not supposed to be involved in politics. They're supposed to be involved in law enforcement. They're not that. The sheriff's department here in Knox County, in that building right there, involved in allegedly stealing your money in seizures, where they take your money, put it in a fund, and they've been fixing their commodes. That's what they think of you. Making duck blinds and fixing their cars while they're supposed to be out protecting you. They're not out protecting you. They're not out protecting you for the most part. Now, some officers are, not all of them. Let me say this, be very clear. There are some officers, and they deserve a high degree of respect. There are some officers who have contributed numerous, huge amounts of money to me in getting out this message. They know how wicked and corrupt the system. I'm not going to call them out by name. They have written truthful information to me to help me win in court hearings. They're legitimate, fine officers that are trying to do the right thing. Now, I can't say who they are, because if I did, the administration of the police department would punish their private activity. So I'm not saying every officer's crooked. I'm saying the officers who have mistreated me in uniform, ran against me in uniform, publicly criticized me. That's politicking against me. That's not what they're for. We pay them to protect us, not to try to promote their boss and politic under the authority of the government. They had sheriff's deputies right here at the sheriff's department while I was out running for political office. And this is the reason why I haven't won. It's not because I'm not legitimate or shouldn't win. It's because the government, people in government power, are involved in violating the First Amendment, are involved in using your tax money for political purposes to bolster their candidates while they're stealing from you. Allegedly, they're being tried right now after they're out of power, of course. Why weren't they charged years ago? So I was out campaigning here in Knox County, and two deputy sheriffs stopped me for knocking on doors legally and asking people to vote for me, handing them a leaflet. The leaflet was information about government crimes, which I'm allowed to do in America. First Amendment, got a right to criticize the government. On the ballot, doing everything legal, following the rules, that doesn't matter. Two deputy sheriffs from this department right here, where we have sheriffs that are stealing your money and I'm reporting that kind of stuff you need to know. I have a right to say. Now, they can knock on the door next to me and say, he's lying. He doesn't have he's lying about us. All of us in the department are honorable officers. He's lying about us. They can do that. They can camp, not in uniform, but they can, on their time, they can knock on doors and say, Charles Van Morgan's a liar, and they do. But they do not have the right, under the authority of the law, to stop me, detain me. They detained me. 2 deputy sheriffs detained me. I asked them if I was free to go. They said no. That means I am in police custody. I was in police custody for literally handing out truthful material against them, trying to protect civilians against them. And I said, am I free to go? They said no. So they stopped me. They stopped me from passing out information against them. In America, this isn't Russia. This is America. So I could not hand out information. And think about what else they're doing. I just handed a lady a leaflet against the government, against people in power, that it's truthful information, letting the public know, hey, this is what these people in power are doing against you. You need to know this. You need to have this on the table so you can consider it and make a decision. Now, I'm not holding a gun to them saying you have to vote for me, you have to believe that. I'm saying presenting this alternative point of view, and based on the facts, based on a credible witness. Me and other people have seen this, even officers supporting me saying that. Tell people, please, I can't. And 2 deputy sheriffs stopped me. And the lady I just handed a flyer to seen this police officer stopping me, and I was telling them my constitutional rights. You have no reason to stop me. I'm not committing a crime. I'm a political candidate. I told them my name. I'm running for public office. I'm on the ballot. I'm peacefully campaigning. I can do this. You have no crime here, no reason to prevent my movement in spreading the truth about you. You can't do that. In fact, the fact that I'm speaking against people in government power is all the more reason for them to stay the hell away from me, because they're intentionally targeting me because I'm spreading the truth about them, which is totally horrific. They have a bully pulpit. They can call a press conference, and I wish the Sharma Tissue Allen would say, Charles Van Morgan's a liar. Go ahead, it gets my name out. And I'll be on here and say, no, I'm not. She's a liar. I'm glad she said my name. Thank you very much. You're helping. She won't do that. I double dog dare to mention my name. That'd be a good thing. So the lady I just handed a flyer to, while the deputy sheriffs were detaining me, I know the law. I'm not a rogue thug. I'm a law-abiding citizen. They're not. They legally detained me for no crime. Had no probable cause, no reason. I wasn't committing a crime. I was engaged in politics. So they stopped a politician, people in power, stopped somebody from trying to win public office to make the government better for you. They said, no, you can't do that. Stop. So I stopped, and I was telling them what I know about the law. I won't just read it in a book or one of them YouTube podcasters that is a constitutional podcaster that is out for public attention. I was trying to get public power to protect Tennesseans. And I'm somebody that has went through their law schools, passed their bar exam, that knows my rights and knows the law, knows the Constitution. I have a doctorate level education in that. It's like you go to a doctor and you ask them to diagnose your illness. You trust them because they've studied it. They went through clinical trials. They paid the dues. You go to your next door neighbor and they'll tell you, oh, I think it's just the flu or whatever. You don't trust them. They haven't studied. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. I've studied it. It's not a fluke or a lightly weighed opinion. It is an educated, knowledgeable opinion based on fact, based on the law, and I passed tests to prove that I know what I'm talking about. It is their laws. They don't like it when you use it against them. This is the fair playing field the Constitution gives us. And I was telling them, you don't have no reason to detain me. I haven't broken the law. I'm out campaigning. I'm a political candidate. You're violating my rights. You're detaining me. I can't go tell people to vote against you, which is exactly what they don't want me to do. I'm not saying shoot them. I'm saying go vote them out. I mean, that is a right. I mean, you think about it. Go vote them out, and here's why. I got a right to do that. They don't want me to do that. Why are they detaining me? Under color of law. They're in a deputy's uniform. A citizen hears me telling them the truth, disagreeing with them while they're in uniform, and they think that, hey, He is arguing with cops. He's ruthless. He's wrong. They're in uniform. They got the symbol of the government. They're obviously doing right. And he's telling them that he doesn't agree with them. He's wrong. They have the appearance of lawful, legitimate authority that I'm doing something wrong by speaking against them, which is my constitutional right. They're doing something wrong by detaining me. I didn't ask them to have a conversation with them. I asked them to let me go, leave me alone. And the lady comes out and hands me the flyer that I just gave her. If you're going to talk that way to law enforcement, then you're not getting my vote. I don't want your flyer. So the appearance of her and them was that I'm being wrong because police obviously have to stop me, and I am arguing with them, in her opinion, speaking disrespectfully to law enforcement, because I'm not speaking disrespectfully. I'm telling them my rights. Leave me alone. Let me go to the next door. So they're using their uniforms from this office, the same office that's allegedly stealing money, your money, and I'm trying to warn people about them doing things like that. So they're using their power and their position. The sheriff's department in Knoxville, they do it all across the state of Tennessee. I've been in every county in the whole state of Tennessee, 95 counties, knocked on 40,000 doors, sending the message. Your government has gone rogue. They're against you. Don't shoot them. Don't hurt them. Please don't do that. If they hurt themselves, try to help them. The message I've got is vote them out. Get rid of them. Vote them out. Don't vote the Republican Party. Don't vote the Democrat Party. Don't vote the Republican Party. Don't vote the Democrat Party. Vote people who serve your interest. Now, if you are going to vote for a party, I get that. Some people think they're wasting their vote. You're not, because you're putting political pressure on the establishment. I would suggest that you vote Republican because they have more values that do protect the public. Now, that's just the truth. Even if they're ruthless, wrong people, at least the basis of the people that support them are legitimate interest. So vote Republican. If you have to vote for a party, vote Republican. And I'll say that because I'm not a rogue person. I'm out for your safety. Democrats have gone rogue. I mean, they want to make it legal to mutilate little children and change their sex before they know what the hell's going on. Then when they get older, they might have made a mistake, but you let them do that. There needs to be laws against that. At least the Republicans are against mutilating little children. I'm not trying to win public office for its own sake. I'm trying to protect the public, which is more important than me winning public office. So this is Unbridled News from Knoxville, Tennessee. We're filming down here that we normally don't because there's law enforcement out here. And there is a chaplain out here. So that leads me to believe there may have been some type of circumstance that involved a serious injury and or death because they have a chaplain for counseling, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. God bless these police officers and what they're doing. People think I'm against them. I'm against some things that they do wrong, but police officers deserve our honor and respect. And they're down here on a call, and respect them and honor what they tell you to do. When they unlawfully detained me, I told them that I was keeping time and I would bring it to court. I didn't fight them on the street. Don't fight them on the street. So no news channels out here, but I don't know what's going on. I think that's the Knox County Coroner's Office. So it might be involving a death. I'm not sure. This is Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled News. And they have cadets and several officers in a tow truck at the close to the Calhouns on the river here at this little park area. So I'm not sure what's going on, but we'll continue with our show and see if we got any updates on what's going on from a distance. And if they ask us to move, we'll move. So Charles Van Morgan, you're watching Unbridled News. Like, share, and contribute so we can get the message out. So the unjust criminal and civil court system in this country is designed, not broken, designed to take your freedom, take your money, take your rights. right here from this courthouse right here, we have allegations of the sheriff's department, high-ranking officials, stealing seizure money. So they do, in fact, take seizure money, and the allegation is that they are using that money for their own purposes. It's not broken, it's designed that way. It's designed to take your rights. They want a peaceful world for them, and that's what the system is set up for. They have police officers, guards, before you go in that courthouse that protect them. They're not there to protect you. They're there to protect them from you. And they want and have designed it where it's violent for you. If you resist, it's at the end of a gun. That is illegitimate, illegal, unconstitutional control over you. And this morning we're going to document it and prove it. Psalm 82:5 of the King James Version, and people think that I'm unchristian, that I'm speaking stuff that's false. This stuff is not true. This stuff is pointed out in the Bible. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. And that's what it says in God's holy word. So this isn't a novel thing. This is scriptural. Hello, y'all know what's going on?
Yeah.
What is it? What's going on? If you don't mind, I'm broadcasting live.
So I guess that this guy was driving his truck over the train tracks and he got stuck. And he tried to get it out, and I think he gave it too much gas. And he jumped over and like broke the rails, and he got his truck in the water. And it was fully submerged. And then he tried to roll down his window to get out, but the water just came in, and he just died.
So he died, drowned.
Yeah.
So it happened. He was in that park area over there.
Yeah.
And he's going over the railroad track. So they're here on.
Truck.
To some dude that apparently saw the entire thing.
Okay.
He told us.
That's sad. Yeah.
Yeah, really sad.
Thank you for letting you. How did y'all find out?
Oh, we saw. Yeah.
We were kayaking, and then we saw it. Yeah.
Wow. So do y'all go to UT or?
No, we're from Arizona.
Yeah. Arizona. Are you okay? Yeah, I like it. I've been to Arizona. It's real hot in Arizona.
Yeah.
But it's not as humid, so it doesn't feel that way. What brings y'all here to Knoxville?
A gym competition.
Gym competition.
It's nationals for gymnastics.
Okay, so y'all are high school students, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Gymnastics it's amazing how you all can do some of that stuff. What sport are you in?
Gymnastics. I'm a gymnast.
So you do the walking on the beam and all that stuff? Wow, that's incredible. And you all do the same thing?
No, I play baseball.
You play baseball? Okay.
This is my brother. He just came.
Oh, this is your brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm Charles Van Morgan. I do Unbridled News, and I'll do shows against talking about how crooked the government is, and I seen the blue light, so I came down here.
Yeah.
So y'all actually seen it?
No, we didn't see it.
You didn't see it happening?
Came, like, right after.
Yeah, right after
Okay.
it happened. And then we saw a guy that
Witness.
was standing down here, and we asked him what happened, and I guess he saw the whole thing.
Okay. Wow. So yeah, well, people, that's very unfortunate. I'm glad it's not somebody getting murdered or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But thank y'all so very much. Welcome to Knoxville.
Hey.
So have you heard about you played baseball, right?
Yeah.
So you're aware. I'll have to point it out that University of Tennessee baseball team won the national championship.
Yeah.
Not last year, but the year before, which I'm a Vol fan.
Yeah.
So are y'all planning on going to college?
I'm gonna try. If I get like a good scholarship, I'll go. But if not,
Right.
probably not.
Baseball scholarship is the way to get a great education. I got an education from UT in criminology and sociology, and I have a law degree. So, and I do this podcast. Y'all can watch. You'll be on it. It's Charles Van Morgan on YouTube. I put a lot of very inflammatory unbridled news against the establishment. So I'm talking today about how these crooked judges drunk on the bench and they put people in jail and it's stuff like that. And some officers, people think badly of officers, some officers have contributed to my show and campaign to speak out against what they're doing. So not all officers are bad, but and I'm actually on the governor's ballot too in Tennessee. I know y'all can't vote, but it's to get widespread press all across Tennessee to boost the channel. I've had like 3 million people in the past like 6 months watch the show. So it's taking getting a political message out against so if you don't mind me asking, I hate it when people ask me this, are y'all Democrat, Republican, or do y'all have political views? Or
Republican.
Republican? Okay. Well, I'm independent, but I tell people if you don't vote for independent, vote Republican. Even though, because the base values that they have are values that protect people, like mutilating little children are the Republican people. But yeah, welcome to Knoxville, and a relatively safe city because the great law enforcement here and the great University of Tennessee. So but look me up on YouTube and y'all are young. Good luck in your future. College is a great thing, and I'm impressed with people that do gymnastics. Wow, that's some awesome stuff, and that keeps you healthy too. So nice meeting y'all. Thank y'all so very much. I want to keep, and I love your cross. So I'm Christian. That's my faith too. So nice to meet y'all, handsome young men and ladies. I won't keep you. Thank you for letting me know what's going on.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
I will.
It was nice to talk to you.
Watch my show. You'll be alarmed. I'm very abrasive towards people in the public. They literally have arrested me wrongly for saying stuff truthful against them. Yeah, they did. They put me in the hospital for saying that people are crooked in government power. I mean, it's amazing. People think you have a freedom of speech in America. Not really, but I sued them and they quickly dismissed the criminal charges. You know how they do. But yeah, people in government power are crooked as hell, I think. So yeah. But nice talking to you all. Nice to meet you all. So let's see if that bolstered my show. Yeah, we got 100 people in here. Thank y'all so very much. So that's illegitimate control. So we found out what's going on here. Somebody jumped the railroad tracks, went in the river, and they rolled the window down to try to get out, and it drowned them. So that's horrible. Horrible. At least it's not a murder or something like that, an accidental death. So all the foundations are out of course. Psalm 82:5, King James Version. Now that's according to the witnesses. I'm sure that's probably accurate, but witnesses canoeing down the river came after the fact and heard that. So you heard it from people. So you are in trouble with law enforcement for obeying the law. You're subject to the death penalty for living peacefully on this planet. This morning, wrongful convictions, false confessions, civil asset forfeiture, right here in this building. Civil asset forfeiture, allegedly going to fix their commodes. Prosecutors who hide the truth and get promoted for it. So this alleged crime that took place right here in this courthouse took place between 2011 and 2018. It's 2026. They're just now charging these people who allegedly stole civil asset forfeiture money. Civil asset forfeiture money is money that they take from citizens on the street that is allegedly used to facilitate illegal activity. So the government, people in the government power are allowed to take the proceeds of illegal activity, put it in a fund, and use that money to fight illegal activity. So it's supposed to be a way to fight wrong. But allegedly what they're doing about it is they're taking money off citizens. I'm saying that they take money off citizens wrongly. They take people's inheritance money. not money that's used to facilitate wrong, and they have in fact taken people's inheritance money. Said it's proceeds of crime when it's not. It's proceeds of somebody that loved them, that got money for them after their death. And they put it in a drug fund to fight crime, and supposedly, and what they have done with it is they've used it for themselves, for their own purposes, not to fight crime, to fix their cars while they're on duty instead of fighting crime. And then they also, while they're on duty, stop political candidates from saying that. So that happened, the last that happened was 2018, and they're just now prosecuting them almost 10 years later. There's a cover-up in that. Why did it take them so long? That's a cover-up, because they're no longer in power. The people in power protect themselves. So, wrongful convictions, false confessions, civil asset forfeiture, prosecutors who hide the truth and get promoted for it. Foreign money buying your courts. A death penalty system that executes the innocent and calls it justice. So we've got statistics, we've got names, we've got receipts, and we got some time. And we're going to talk about the corrupt injustice system and these judges and prosecutors who are violating the law, and officers who are violating the law, but have a target on you for living peacefully in this country. So we got 71 likes, let's get 100, and let's get some contributions. And your reputation is the first execution, before trial, before verdict, before the truth. They leak it to the press. Now 12 strangers walk in already knowing that you're a criminal. So they leak your mugshot to the press. 3,400 wrongful convictions documented in America since 1989. 3,400 plus false convictions. Scientific or other conclusive evidence of people's innocence. That's not a glitch in the system. That's a feature of the system designed that way on purpose to incarcerate innocent people. That's the way they want it. That's the way they keep it. That's the way they designed it. It is effective as designed to put you in jail when you haven't done a damn thing wrong. And that is crooked as hell. So, a feature of the system. That is a feature. Over 3,400 human beings convicted of crimes they did not commit could not have scientifically, a lot could not have scientifically. Innocent until proven guilty is a fairy tale that they tell children, which is crooked as hell. That's a fairy tale, innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty, and they won't let you prove your innocence. So, Charles Van Morgan, live on the scene of a news incident, and we're talking about the corrupt system in the state of Tennessee. They decide you're guilty at their golf courses. And they find you guilty in the parking lot before they ever walk in a courtroom. There's a little hallway at the back of the courtroom here where you can't even divulge what they tell you in negotiations that are not subject to being told in open court, where they work out deals to find you guilty of crimes. So, nothing to see here. Heard the horrific incident. The rules of evidence were written to control what the jury hears, not to find the truth. And I happen to know those rules, those crooked rules. And truth is inadmissible. So we'll walk back up to our signature location while I speak the truth. So we have 82 people in the room and 73 likes, so let's get some more likes and shares. So one day, let's see what this is. Vehicle brakes ahead. This facility is equipped with vehicle barriers that are intended to stop, immobilize, and prevent unauthorized vehicle intrusion to the facility. Failure to stop result in damage to any vehicle coming into contact with the barrier may cause injury to the vehicle occupants. Restricted access. This is not public access. Public access to this facility is located at Main Street and Hill Avenue. Entrance is only. Authorized cardholders may enter this building through the access. Persons who violate this warning are subject to charges of criminal trespass as designed in 3914-405. Do not enter. So they want you to know you can't come in this building through that entrance. So they sure want you to know that. And someday we may stand on the public sidewalk right over here and pass out information about this dirty courthouse to people who want to take it. Where these people that are going into the dirty courtrooms and these dirty judges that come in these entrances and these dirty prosecutors can see us out here exercising our First Amendment rights against them. Imagine that. We've got a right to say how crooked they are. And we might do it right here on American sidewalk and see what happens. Maybe false trumped up charges. So that will help the cause, because you'll see live time what they do to people who don't agree with their mass incarceration of you, and their prosecutors following drunk judges. Literally happened. A prosecutor right behind a drunk judge from that courtroom, not reporting him, not calling law enforcement, knowing he was drunk, didn't do a damn thing about it. And then they stand up in that courtroom every day and prosecute sober Tennesseans for drunk driving. So they call good evil and evil good. And we might pass out a flyer that says just that, based on fact, and see what they do. Now, they have a lot of legal options. Now, they can sue me for defamation, but it shouldn't fly because it's the truth. Or they can call a press conference and say I'm lying, but that'd be lying because it's the truth, and that would help anyway. So I hope they do that, but we may do that. And I plan on doing that, stand right out in front of the courthouse and pass out flyers telling the truth about people that have guns and authority and power, who I allege, a lot of them drunk and on drugs, violate the Brady rules and prosecute you wrongly, and they are criminals. They're the ones that should be in jail. That's what I'm alleging. That's what I got a right to allege. That's what I'm doing under the First Amendment. And we're going to talk to you today more about how that takes place. So we got about 70 something likes. Let's get up to 100. Spread this channel. And unheard of news. You won't hear this anywhere else. It's too damn dangerous. And not sure how much longer I can do it. We'll see how that goes. Contribute to the channel. And because I'm nobody's sacrificial lamb. And I'm not going to go down like Dr. Martin Luther King did in an assassination, not voluntarily. And I'm not going to be a dead hero. So we'll see how long we can do that. We've got a few people in here. So thank y'all for joining me. We will continue to get into the show. Let's adjust the mic here. And so we got 76 likes. Let's get a few more, and a lot of contributions. Thank y'all so much. So truth is inadmissible in their version of events. Procedure over truth. A technicality sets them free. A technicality puts you away. Same system, different outcomes depending on who you are. They exclude the evidence that proves your innocence on a procedural objection. They object to truth being spoken out loud in open court. The best liar with the best lawyer wins. That's the American injustice system. 9 years. The average wrongly convicted person serves 9 years of your life for their mistake. And when you get out, nobody apologizes. No compensation in most states. Just a door and a sidewalk after you've been in jail 9 years for a wrongful conviction. And it's by design. That would shut anybody up. They run the clock out and win with wrong. They win on rote procedure, not truth, not facts, not law. People who never met you adjudicate your life safely from a distance. They clear you, then get word from a higher up to redo it with false evidence. That's not justice, that's a machine. Proverbs 17:15 in the King James Version, for those of you who are a Christian, he that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. So they're abomination in two ways. They're justifying the wicked, following drunk judges down the road, punishing people who arrest drunk prosecutors' families and drunk lawyers' families, and they condemn me and you for standing up for what's right. That is the Bible. That's what they do. If people say that doesn't happen, it's a conspiracy, what I'm saying, then the Bible is a whole book about conspiracy, and some people believe that. I personally do not. It's the truth. This is not a conspiracy phenomenon. It is documented that this happens in the Bible. Why would the Bible put out a warning for that people that do things are an abomination if they weren't doing it? It would be useless to say that, needless. It's because it literally takes place. And that's why the Bible speaks about it. An abomination, and I looked that up to tell you exactly what it means, is something that is very disgusting. And I'll read you the definition of disgusting, of abomination from the dictionary, and it's abomination to God. What that actually means from the Webster Dictionary. And we got some other cool stuff to show you about people in government power. Abomination is a thing or action or person that causes extreme disgust, hatred, or loathing. It is reserved for acts or conditions considered profoundly vile, unnatural, or morally offensive rather than minor mistakes. So the Bible says that the government, people in government power, right here at this courtroom, that justify the wicked, they justify these dirty, drunk judges, and that condemn people that are just, condemn people like me and you, mass citizens. Both of those are, people that do that are extremely disgusting. Their hatred or loathing behavior, it is reserved for action conditions that they're profoundly vile. These people in government power are profoundly vile. Now, that's not my words. That's the Bible. When they do that, and they do that often, they're profoundly vile. Now, that's pretty hard truth, isn't it? Unnatural, morally offensive, and it's not minor mistakes. Profoundly vile. As you can see here, profoundly vile. Morally offensive. Rather than minor mistakes. So it's not a minor mistake. It's horrific. It's people in power. That's the good word. There's my fans. That's the Bible. People in power, he that justifies the wicked. When they justify these evil people, put people back to work that are drunk on the job. Let troopers drive down the road drunk. Prosecute people that are stone cold innocent. That's not a minor mistake, that's profoundly vile. Profoundly vile. And then when they condemn just people, they justify the wicked. It's not a minor mistake. That's the Bible. He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. Now that happens. Or why would the Bible write about that? So if this is landing this morning, if you get what I'm saying, and we'll keep on trying to give it to you, go to the antidote right now and link this description. This campaign runs on truth and your support. So donate right now to this campaign. Share this broadcast. Let's get this message out to protect Tennesseans. Because these people ain't committing a minor mistake. It's profoundly vile. And so help me subscribe to the channel if you can't contribute, and fund this channel to get this message out. The money trap, financial welfare on citizens. Your money is their money. They just let you hold it temporarily. Interest on your own money. You pay interest on your own hard-earned dollars. Just to use your own work. Use your own money. They breadcrumb you just enough to keep you working, never enough to set you free. Poverty is not an accident. Poverty is a policy. So we're putting some real hard, difficult truth to you that people don't want me to say, and we're just going to say it. I know they don't want me to say it because it makes it harder for them to do it. They tax the work and subsidize the ownership. They tax the work and subsidize ownership. You will never catch up by design. People that are carrying the load, moving stuff, bringing food, carrying the load, doing the work, pay money to people that sat in a nice, comfortable, air-conditioned office doing nothing to benefit society. And they get siphoned money like a mosquito out of you while you're working hard for them. The transfer of money makes billionaires. And the people that move society, that benefit society, are taxed, and the money's given to these lazy, pathetic people. No one is worth $1 billion. You know, we got our billionaires. First billionaire. He didn't get that money because he did the work. He got that money because people exploited people to get the money out of them. So let's say it again. They tax the work and subsidize ownership that does no work. You will never catch up by design. There's going to be more and more billionaires. The separation between the rich and poor is dramatically increasing. You got to work harder for less and carry society, benefit society, while they siphon off part of your effort and hinder your effort, hinder society for doing nothing. Civil asset forfeiture. Big deal right now going on in Knoxville. A dispute over asset forfeiture money. Is it going to fight crime or going to fix their toilet? That's in court right here in Knoxville. Shouldn't even be a question. In 2014, law enforcement seized more property from American citizens than all burglars combined. So let's compare the burglars, the street crime that deputy sheriffs are on TV shows, making themselves movie stars, arresting, as compared to them stealing, as alleged in their indictment, your money, forfeiture money. In 2014, they seized $3.9 billion in 2014. Just 2014. Police took $4.5 billion. So police took more than burglars in forfeiture, seizures, cash. Now that's not counting the other stuff, money. So who's doing the crime? Who's more of a problem, a burden on you financially? I guess they have a lot of toilets they need fixed. So, in 2014, it was bad enough. You say that's a long time ago. Cops took more from Americans than every burglar in the country combined. 11 years later, nothing has changed. The federal government alone forfeits $2 to $3 billion every single year. Forfeits means that they're taking your money, $2 to $3 billion of your money taken, seized from you every year, alleging that it's the proceeds of crime. Not a one-time number, a decades plus pattern. That's not law enforcement. That's a permanent revenue stream built on your property. No conviction required. So it's going on for decades, taking your money. And that's what they're doing. You don't have to be convicted. They take your car, your cash, your property, and you have to sue to get it back. Guilty until proven innocent. Civil asset forfeiture. Guilty until you can afford to prove otherwise. Equitable sharing. Local police keep a cut of what they seize federally. A financial incentive to take your property built right into the law. That's not law enforcement. That's government-sanctioned robbery that takes more than thieves. The Knox County theft allegation of seizure of your money is going on right now. 10 million Americans currently trapped in debt to the legal system from court fines and fees. Miss a court date because you can't afford the bus, that's a warrant. Now you're a fugitive for being poor. They charge you a fee to use a public defender, a lawyer you're constitutionally entitled to, because there's not enough lawyers, because they won't license honest lawyers like me sometimes. Then again, if convicted, then again on probation, then the bell never stops. So, When Michael Brown was killed, maybe legitimately in Ferguson, Missouri, a lot of anger going on in Ferguson, Missouri. So they picked a fight about the Michael Brown case. And even if it was legitimate self-defense from the officer, the Department of Justice began investigating that city. They found a lot of the source of the anger from mass citizens. They found the city was running its court system as a revenue extraction machine, targeting black residents specifically. Now, this is June 10th. Is emancipation really a thing? The court wasn't about justice. It was a cash register. And Ferguson is not unique. It's just the one that got caught. So, historical case study, 2018 settlement in Ferguson. The Philadelphia DA's office took over $64 million in civil assets from citizens between 2002 and 2012. This is a historical study. Most of whom were never charged with a crime. $64 million from people never convicted of anything. $64 million. The fine is their freedom, their money. So, civil asset forfeiture, Tennessee source, Institute for Justice, policing for profit. Standard of proof to take your property, preponderance of evidence, the lowest bar in the legal system. So they can take your property, just barely tipping the scale. Vehicles, you have to prove your own innocence to get your car back. Financial incentive, up to 100% of what's seized goes straight back to the agency that seized it. The most recent year on record, 2023, state forfeiture revenue was $12,477,351. So they took $12 million of people's property, money. DOJ equitable sharing $6,878,954 is what they took off citizens. Treasurable equity sharing $53,053,000 total for 2023. What they took from citizens under preponderance of the evidence, barely tipping the scale, with their judge, their courtroom, their prosecutors, and you don't even have an attorney. They have a trained attorney. $19,409,305. That's not 2014. That's not a decade ago. That's 2023's number. Nearly 19.5 million taken in 12 months. The long game, 2000 to 2023. At least 338,514,931 in state and federal forfeiture revenue in Tennessee. That's what they get of your money. These officers out here are revenue streams for the government to fund the Attorney General's office to fight against your constitutional rights. That's what's going on. If the Attorney General wants to call a press conference, he can call one. They'll stick a microphone in his face from every news channel in the state of Tennessee. I've got a right to say that from a sidewalk in public in the state of Tennessee with a cell phone with millions of people listening. And they sanctioned me for doing that. 209.8 million state forfeiture revenue. 111.6 million DOJ equitable sharing, 17 million treasurable equitable sharing. That's what the state of Tennessee got. They literally seized a woman's inheritance, knew it was inheritance, testified by the officer that it was inheritance, and still continued to try to steal her money using the court system. And this number, 338,514,931 in Tennessee, is an underestimate. It only counts money, currency, not cars, not homes, not anything else they walk away with. the loophole. Tennessee does nothing to stop local agencies from routing seizure through the federal equity sharing program to get around state law. Since 2000, nearly 129 million funneled through that one loophole alone. So they don't have to follow state laws about forfeiture seizures. They get forfeiture seizures through federal seizures. On average, 106 Tennessee agencies, roughly 31% of all law enforcement agencies in the state, are certified for this program every year. The day in court that isn't. You think you get a day in court? No, you don't. Deadlines leading up to hearing, 72 days minimum, and that's not counting the probable cause hearing itself. So you have to wait to get a hearing. If you don't show up, the judge decides probable cause without you in the courtroom. Ex parte, no defense, no argument. Half of Tennessee currency seizures, 2015 to 2019, were worth less than $675, less than it costs to hire a lawyer to fight it. So you just let them have it. The system isn't broken, it's priced so you can't fight back. Why would you hire a lawyer when the price of hiring a lawyer is more than what you'll get back? You'll just let it go. So it's rigged into the system to steal your money. So if you don't show up, the judge decides probable cause without you in the courtroom. Tennessee forfeiture law gets a D from the Institute for Justice. Up to 100% of what they take goes straight back to the agency that took it. In 2023 alone, the most recent year on record, nearly 19.5 million. Since 2000, over 338 million. And that's only counting cash, not cars, not homes, not anything else they grab. You don't get convicted. You don't even need to be charged. You just need a cop who decided your money looks suspicious. The 23rd Judicial Task Drug Force, covering I-40 between Nashville and Memphis, pulled 1.8 million in 2021 alone for outpacing other task forces in the state. That's a stretch of highway in your own backyard. Run like a toll booth with a badge. They stop the money going back south. They don't stop the drugs coming north for a reason. They're not concerned about safety. They're concerned about getting rich. This figure is from 2021 reporting flag. The figure's from 2021. So the fine doesn't care what you make. A $500 fine is a bad week for a rich man and an eviction notice for a poor one. That's not equal justice under the law. That's a two-tiered system where freedom has a price tag and they set the price. Psalm 37:21 says, "The wicked borroweth and payeth not again, but the righteous showeth justice and giveth mercy." Court corruption, judges, prosecutors, home cooking. The judge was a prosecutor. The prosecutor wants to be a judge. That's not checks and balances. That's a closed loop. You'll never get in the door. We'll never get a judge to represent us that knows you. Prosecutor misconduct. The National Registry of Exonerations found prosecutors misconduct in 30% of wrongful conviction cases. 30%. Prosecutors who commit misconduct are almost never disbarred, almost never criminally charged, almost never lose their job. They get reelected. The prosecutor's job title says justice. Their paycheck says convictions. See how many people we have in here? Just a few. God bless you. Thank you. There's a huge difference between legal and lawful. That's right. Absolutely. So, Brady violations. Brady violations where prosecutors hide evidence that could free you are the single most common form of prosecutor misconduct. Right here in Knox County, we have the prosecutor's office. Robert DeBusk. The Board of Professional Responsibility of the Tennessee Supreme Court censured a former Knox County District Attorney on Tuesday, accusing him of conduct involving dishonesty and prejudice the administration of justice. They get a slap on the wrist. They get a slap on the wrist. For misconduct. Hiding the truth is not a fireable offense in most jurisdictions. They call it a Brady violation. You call it what it is, a frame job with a law degree. They measure success in bodies, how many they put away, not how many they get right. So the prosecutor in Knox County, ex-Knox County prosecutor accused of perjury, now working for the court clerk. Defense attorney Whalen sought to disqualify the DA's office from his client's case. He subpoenaed DeBusk as part of the effort in a hearing before Knox County Criminal Court Judge Hector Sanchez. While in the hallway prior to testifying, Mr. DeBusk discussed the facts with an attorney not related to this matter. The Board of Professional said an announcement following its review of the matter. DeBusk was called to testify when asked about the facts. Mr. DeBusk stated, "I don't recall," which was contrary to what he had discussed in the hall. So he said he didn't recall what he just talked about in the hallway. So that's perjury, a prosecutor. He was further pressed on his recollection, and Mr. DeBusk refused to answer by pleading the fifth. Finally, Mr. DeBusk testified substantially about the facts of the matter. Whalen and DA Allen's office alerted the board, which then conducted its own investigation. Allen suspended DeBusk. He resigned. The board found he violated its rules of professional conduct for dishonesty, prejudice to the administration of justice. DeBusk's license remained active according to board records, but later, October, he was suspended. He was reprimanded, not fired or prosecuted for perjury. A former Knox County prosecutor had been publicly reprimanded after being accused of lying on the stand. So, these prosecutors lie. The State Supreme Court Board of Professional Responsibility, which oversees discipline for lawyers in the state, issued the censure today for Robert DeBusk. The censure is a warning, but it does not impair DeBusk's ability to practice law. So, I can't practice law, and I've never lied under oath. But he's in the clique. He lied under oath, and he gets to practice law. So, I'll put start here. And maybe continue this Monday, since our views are going down, and we'll talk, or Monday or Tuesday or next week, we'll talk about 700 plus cases, the Innocence Project, Kids for Cash, home cooking, the grand jury indictments, and some wrongful convictions. And let me just point out before we close, some stuff that's in the news today. I'm talking about the elections, and people think I don't have a right to speak out. I can't speak out because I haven't won election. So we're gonna talk about that briefly. because I do have a right to speak out, even though I haven't won elections, because one of the reasons why I can't win elections because they allow me. Tennessee Firefly assessment of me. That's all they have. Tennessee Firefly said Van Morgan brings to the race a ballot-only candidacy. That's what they say about me. A ballot-only candidacy, Charles Van Morgan, Firefly. Assessment. Now that'd be biased as hell. Here is what they have about another independent candidate. I'm going to show you about him. Abby brings to the race one of the more detailed tech from him independent platforms, focus different, cherry shades other independents. Through no independent has won statewide Tennessee office in modern history. So our body, right here, they say more detailed tech and from him independent platforms. Focus differentiates from other independents. So this guy right here, more detailed, so they're bragging on him. Me, they say a ballot-only candidate, So this guy they praise, and I'm a ballot-only candidate. Wow, amazing, imagine that. But let's look at the truth about this. Let's look at the truth about Mr. Abadi. Muslim Abadi. Now, they brag on him, Tennessee gubernatorial candidate, head of Stark Crediting Holdings, was indicted by a federal grand jury on 11-count federal indictment for funding a $1.9 million crypto conspiracy Ponzi scheme. He is facing charges of wire fraud, money laundering operation, and unlicensed money transmitting business preparing false tax returns, according to the Department of Justice. Prosecutors allege that between 2020 and 2024, Abadi lured investors nationwide with false promises of guaranteed high rates of return. He accused of using new investors' funds to pay off early investors, diverting over $1.9 million to himself, his family, and hiding the business income from his federal tax returns. Further information on the case, and it tells you where that can be found. So this guy here, Abadi, is a hero to Firefly. They say he's got one of the more detailed platforms. Differentiates him. Me, they list me as a ballot-only candidate. Imagine that. I'm a ballot-only candidate. But he's a hero, and evidently an alleged thief. So they idolize some people and try to humiliate me. But I haven't stolen any money from anybody. So that's part of their sick, pathetic process. And that doesn't take away my First Amendment right to speak out against people in government power. They idolize these crooks and criminals, allegedly, and demonize me, say I'm a ballot-only candidate. Yeah. I'm not on trial for theft of millions of dollars defrauding the public. I have been put on trial falsely, exonerated for putting the message out for you about the crooked system. So thank y'all for joining me today. You seen the scene down there where there was a death here in Knoxville, somebody drowned in the river, apparently according to witnesses. And we'll show you that as we cross, if any new updates on that. Sad incident. Let's pray for the family of the man that has deceased in the Tennessee River, evidently in a car wreck by himself. So thank y'all for joining me. May God bless y'all. God loves you, and I do too. And we'll film the river and see if there's any updates on that as we walk past. And we will try to answer a few questions if you want us to. Let's see what this says in here. It says, is that where my 10,000 Bitcoin crypto risk investment in 2016 disappeared? How much would it be worth today? Millions. Find them. There you go. Maybe, I don't know, but Firefly sure has a good article about him, but they're not praising me. Creating the Constitution in secret completely stole our nation and was done without the authority of our founding. Contact AKA your confederation. I have no idea what that's about. It's only fraud if you don't donate sufficiently. I'm reserving judgment till I find out whether he donated sufficiently enough to get a pardon. That's right. They like drama. MC, Spitfire, Shine 24. The article said to alter any part or to add to the articles, all 13 states had to unanimously agree. Shame, that's right. I thought he was going over some scheme that Trump was doing. He's one of them. Yeah, that's crazy. Keep talking, sir. Don't let them get you down. Thank you. Treason amongst the people was the Constitution. Hint, hint. None of it is legit. None of the laws have any authority, not one. Only our foundation lies with the Articles of Confederation fact. I went to the Powell Middle School back in the late 70s, early 80s. Trump is a golden god. I don't know about that. Not if it is legal or fraud. All that comes from fraud is in a fruit of a poisonous tree. That's right. Can I get free representation for exoneration? So any more comments, I'll be glad to answer them live right now. Thank y'all so very much. May God bless you all for watching the show. We will go down here and film the scene of the horrific incident from the bridge. Can I get, let's see, wrongly convicted of felony after trial. Lost, brother. Sorry about that. Focus on the good. You a believer, then all things work together. Well, it is focus on the good to call out evil. That is good. It depends on your definition of evil. The Bible talks about calling out evil as a good thing. So, depends on what your interpretation of evil is. There is a point, a rhyme and reason to call out evil, which is a good thing. So it's not focusing on bad to call out evil. It's calling out evil is a good thing to correct things for the better. The Bible called out evil. So that's not an evil thing. To focus on it and dwell on it and feel demoralized and think that it can't be cured, that there's no help from God, now that's negative. That's negative. But to call out evil for the sake of God can help and God will help in spite of the evil is a good thing. No matter how bad the world is, God's in control. God can help, God can save. So thank you for agreeing. You have to shine the light on it for it to change. That's right. Keep it up, brother. Thank you so very much. And thank you for my fans. This is dangerous work. And hit the like button, hit the share button. Help us spread the message. We are fighting crooks in power. against the odds, against the grain, and doing what God asked me to do, and doing what I know to do. You're out in a fight and somebody punches you in the face, God shouldn't have to tell you to defend yourself. You ought to know. That's just good God-given common sense. Stop them from doing that. And we will, and we're going to. So any more questions, any more comments? Thank y'all so very much. 86 likes, 54 on the channel right now. God's blessing us. Believe and cast your care so you're not carrying the weight. That's right. I agree with that. Thank y'all for the godly, wonderful, encouraging comments. Y'all are wonderful people. God-fearing people. Dalen says you're crooked as hell. Okay, let's just trust the government, people in power. Yeah, no, I'm not crooked. I'm very honest. I'm honest. And, oh, you called me crooked. I'm going to quit. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you. So God bless you all. We'll try to show you what's going on from the bridge about the fatality. Cover news. Let you see what's going on. 87 likes, a few more. From I know him. Okay. Jesus Christ is a living God. Amen. That's true. I just got on what are you honest about and what's the topic. Okay. You're going to rewind and redo it. Jesus is king. That's right. Amen. Thank you for that. Amen. God bless you. That's absolutely right. Sometimes I'm wrong. Jesus is never wrong. Jesus Christ can save you. I can't. So that's exactly right. And that is the ultimate supreme message of this channel. So if you missed it, it's about crooked people in power. This channel is putting out the message against crooked people in government power. And that's what we do here. So, good morning, sir. You enjoying the beautiful weather? Yes, I am. I don't think Jesus likes me. Jesus loves everybody. That would be false. So, as you look at the beautiful view from Knoxville, Tennessee, and we'll go down here and see if they've wrapped up this wreck scene on the river that we covered earlier. And I don't see any police cars down there. So somebody wrecked in the river, tried to roll down their window according to witnesses, and they drowned. So there's a few police cars down there. Horrific incident. Drive safely, drive sober, and take care. So we got 87 likes, let's get 100 likes. Thank y'all for joining. May God bless you all. If there's news to present, we'll show it live on the scene this weekend. If there's not, we will see you, hopefully, God willing, and the creek don't rise, Monday. So it's good to see someone not afraid to stand for what's right. Thank you. Now in this vessel. So thank you all very much. So there's the scene of the wreck. And remember, as you look at that, this is the good message in that. If you're not a Christian, if you haven't accepted the Lord Jesus Christ into your heart, and you die without him, then you're not forgiven. You'll go to hell. And people die in horrific accidents, not intending to, all the time. This man here, I'm sure wherever he was going, he was planning on getting there. But he's dead, and If you're alive today and you haven't accepted the Lord, your death is coming, and it might be before you expect it. You can die at any time. Accept the Lord Jesus Christ into your heart before you die. The reality of death comes unexpected in wrecks, unattended circumstances. Trust the Lord today while you still have time, is the message of this. Somebody dying right here in a tragic accident, hopefully with the Lord Jesus Christ in their heart. Weren't expecting it. And that's the way death comes. So be ready for death by accepting the Lord Jesus Christ in your heart. Thank y'all so much. What is right? God's holy word is right. It's purified 7 times, purified in the furnace of earth, fire, purified 7 times. Thank y'all. We'll be back on here. God bless y'all. God loves you.